switched to Firefox, and it seems to be already like a lot faster. Crazily enough, I am a little bit late for the 5 p.m. start time because I was trying to get my eyes to match. You know how it is. So, today's video is going to be for the earth signs, earth signs, earth signs, earth signs, earth signs. The earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the sign of Taurus. This is Taurus. Sun, moon, rising, Venus, whatever Taurus placement you're curious about. Maybe even the Taurus placement house-wise of your chart. Maybe you've got Taurus in the 8th house. Maybe you've got Taurus in the 7th house. And you crave stability in your relationships. Maybe you have Venus and Taurus in the 7th house. Just saying, all of these things are possibilities, right? So go ahead and set your intention for the reading and allow any thoughts or ideas associated with that intention to rise up to the forefront of your mind, and just kind of patiently wait there while I shuffle the cards. And I'm not going to do the breathing guided meditations for the earth signs today. I'm going to give that a break and probably figure out another thing that I want to do instead. Okay, Taurus. Lots of minor arcana cards coming out. And what this can indicate, all right, one major arcana for you, Taurus, is that these are things that are not life-changing. They're just parts of your existence. But those can still, warrant looking into using the tarot. It's kind of like the in-betweens, right? So not every thing that happens in your life is going to be the most important thing that's ever happened, right? Sometimes we have moves that are like the 7th move this year. We've got new jobs or side jobs that we've had for a while. Anyway, you get the picture. So let me mark down the timestamp. And we can get started. Here in the past, Taurus, we have the 8 of Pentacles. This card is showing up in the reverse. So there could have been a job that you were at for a very long time, and then you quit, or you retired. The 8 of Pentacles in the reverse here could also just be like a hobby you had for a very long time, but you were very serious about it. It could be something like having been in a cover band for many years, and then out of the blue one day, everybody decides not to play with each other anymore. Things like that. It would have been something that you'd done for a long time, And it potentially would have also been something that had the ability to bring in income, whether that was something that you did on a regular basis or not. So, here in the place of the significator, we have some interesting energies for you, Taurus. We've got the Queen of Swords. This is water of air energy, speaking one's truth, being ruthless in a way about the truth, right? Although she's not in the reverse, so we're not dealing with uh, outright manipulation and exploitation of circumstance, but still kind of a harsh energy, that Queen of Swords. The crossing energy for that is the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands can indicate that you've risen a certain level above the competitors that you previously had been in tight competition with. You've set yourself above those people, which could mean that it's all the more important for you to speak your truth, especially in employment situations where it's very easy for everyone to be treated the same and thus make their labor more easily exploitable. This is the Financial Liberation Tarot channel. We are not communists here, but we are staunchly anti-capitalist. So here in the Imam Silai, I also see that you're very guarded. These two energies together, this is very interesting that we have the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Wands. This is a very defensive energy. It's an energy of having to kind of like guard what you already have very carefully. Because you could see on both of these cards where they're kind of putting up a fence with all of those wands, even though on the Seven of Wands, technically, those are people who are attacking that vantage point. And wands are about creative energy, they're about potency as well. So this could make you less emotionally open with other people, because all of these wands are going to have the effect of quenching that opposing water energy. But things will take a turn, and I will show you that in the future. Here in your perspective, you see yourself as the King of Swords deposed, right? And this is also speaking to how you feel about having to show up as the Queen of Swords. King of Swords in the reverse can be about the letter of the law being used for exploitation, or loopholes being used for exploitation or manipulation. So it's done not from an emotional place, but it is, the effect is that there is, people are being oppressed or situations are unjust at this time, and that's your perspective on it. So that would make it more important for you showing up as the Queen of Swords to be speaking out about these things. From an outside person's perspective looking in, all of these swords are really reinforcing each other in this reading, because we have the Seven of Swords in the upright. People could see that you might be easy to take advantage of, or perceive that about you, or they might also perceive that you are currently being taken advantage of. Here in the future, we're taking kind of a step back from this energy of the past, where we have the Eight of Pentacles. There's going to be a readjustment of some kind. And what we see here is the Seven of Pentacles. Now, this card is showing up in the upright. When it's reversed, I call that the quit your job card. When it's in the upright, again, adjustments needing to be made, because what you're doing is you're evaluating how much do I deserve to get paid for the work that I've put into a situation, or for the resources, time and energy wise, that I've put into a situation. How much financial compensation or material gain am I seeing out of that? So you're going to be taking part in that process in the future. This is probably going to be a result of guarding what you have. This isn't like the Four of Pentacles where you're trying to like save money or things like that. The Nine of Wands is feeling like you need to put a padlock on something. And it could be your time and energy. Here in your hopes and fears, you want to walk away. This is the Eight of Cups, and it's showing up in the upright, and it's showing up juxtaposed against this King of Swords reversed. That you're going to be walking away from any contracts that are restrictive to you, any other kinds of agreements where people are using these loopholes to exploit you. You're going to be walking away from that. And that could be walking away from a job, or it could be having a long, hard talk with a boss about what it is that you're actually going to be doing at this job and getting it in writing on your terms, possibly as well. But right now, what I see is that you really want to walk away from this situation, because that's your hopes and fears. It doesn't mean that's what you're going to do. It just means that's what you're thinking the proper solution is going to be at this time. Here in the midheaven, we see the destiny or final outcome of the situation. And this, again, is going to be based on that Nine of Wands energy. And what I see coming out here for you is the Three of Cups. That you do have a close-knit friend group around you, Taurus, who can help you through this situation. That might be people offering you jobs because they're friends with you. It might be getting support from your friend group. Maybe you have a friend who's a lawyer and they can look over some paperwork for you and just make sure everything's on the up and up. Everything is as you want it to be and not set up to exploit you. I really do see that you're trying to guard yourself against this potential exploitation that might be going on around you, Taurus. The final card for you is kind of like advice and can also tie up any loose ends. The card that we have there is the Strength card. This is fellow fixed sign Leo's card in the Major Arcana. And you can see that, like the Magician on the Strength card, this figure has a lemniscate over their head. They are persuading this lion to close its mouth. They're kind of like coaxing the mouth closed. They could be forcibly closing the lion's mouth using physical strength, but the implications of the Strength card are not just about the physical aspects of strength, force, power. We didn't have the Ace of Wands show up in your reading, but we did have the Seven and the Nine of Wands. So that you are pushing back. It's kind of a defensive pushback energy. And this is going to be effective for you against the juxtaposed energy. This is how outside people perceive your situation, Taurus, that you are being exploited. And that strength is going to be effective against that, even though Swords energy is probably not your favorite energy to be embodying. As an earth sign, Taurus craves comfort and stability. And the Queen of Swords has the potential to be very destabilizing because she's so powerful. Anyway, that is going to conclude the Taurus reading for this week. I'm going to move on now to the sign of Virgo. And do remember that after I have finished with the earth sign reading, I'm going to go over to the member side of the channel and do some crystal scrying with this beautiful slab of stalactite quartz. You are cordially invited, but your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes. Okay, so now we're moving on to the sign of Virgo. And Virgo, if you would, just go ahead and set your intention. Allow any associated ideas to rise up to the forefront of your mind and wait there patiently while I shuffle the cards. I'm not sure where this card goes. But we do have the Tower coming out in the reverse. That Tower reversed. It's kind of a tricky energy, right? Like you're trying to stop the spread of a wildfire. Or maybe that there's been a close call. Okay. Interesting. Where's that heat coming from? Everywhere at once. Virgo, we've got a ton of, well, not a ton, but we have a lot of major arcana cards showing up in your reading this week. And we have a lot of reversals. And the reading ends on 2 5s, 1 active 5 and 1 passive 5. So I can see there's a lot going on for you this week. Things are kind of up in the air. There might be some confusion. And the week will end on some very transitory energies. All right. So here in the past for you, Virgo, we have the Ten of Swords. It's showing up reversed. So this is an ending, it's over, it's done with. But of course, there's probably going to be repercussions on into the current situation, just that the situation itself has been resolved. Here in the place of the significator, we have the Justice card in the upright. This can be about things balancing out for you. It can be that a situation where you felt like there was an inequity or perhaps the people had done you wrong or not treated you fairly, that is going to be turning around for you, Virgo. Additionally, some of you could be cuspers and born toward the Libra side of the month. And I do want to say happy birthday to all of you Virgo sun signs who are experiencing solar returns this week. Happy birthday. The crossing energy for that is the King of Pentacles. So there's financial stability in your current situation. Turning on my laptop fan will help. Additionally, this King of Pentacles is associated with your fellow Earth sign of Taurus, a very stabilizing energy. That King of Pentacles could represent somebody coming into your life as well, but it does represent, most of all, that financial stability. Whether it is yours or whether someone with financial stability is coming in. Down here in the Imam Silai, we have a King of Cups in the reverse. Sometimes this can be emotional manipulation by someone who has a certain amount of power or authority in your life. The King of Cups in the reverse could also represent that a King of Cups is leaving at this time. From your perspective, we have the Sun, and it's reversed. So the Sun is never a bad card to see in a reading. Everything is going really well. We do say that here. We also see that the crossing energy is that King of Pentacles, that there is a certain amount of security around you right now. But with the Sun card in the reverse, it does indicate that there are things that you wish had gone differently, that everything is not quite perfect like you would want. From an outside person's perspective looking in, we have the Page of Cups reversed. Either that people are not making you offers at this time, or somebody is contemplating whether or not to make you an offer, but either hasn't decided or has decided against making you an offer. But more likely it's that people around you perceive that you are not receiving offers at this time. Additionally, they might be considering making you an offer. Here in the future, we have a couple of these air sign major arcana cards. We have the Justice card in the current situation, and we have the Lovers card in the future showing up reversed. Now that could mean that there is a choice ahead of you that you don't see yet. There might be, oh, hi Obsidian. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Additionally, the Lovers card in the reverse could be about a new love relationship coming in. The Lovers card is a little bit like a prequel to the Judgment card. Let me explain. So we see this angelic figure up in the sky, right? Judgment Day is kind of a big deal. A lot of people spend their entire lives preparing for it, right? I don't think you need to spend your whole life preparing single-mindedly for it. But what the angel is doing here is talking to these two, maybe it's Adam and Eve, maybe it's just two random naked folks. That angel is talking to them about Judgment Day. And he's saying, and I'm going to be coming back. And when I do, here's what's going to happen. So you have some time to prepare. We're all going to, go on this trip together. If you want to get on the spaceship, you got to buy the shoes, right? Too soon? How many of you actually got that joke? So that might be something in the future that's going to prepare you for something bigger as well. Hearing your hopes and fears, Virgo. We have the Two of Swords. This is interesting. It's a similar card to the Lover's card. You might be afraid that you're not going to have a choice in some matter. And especially because it looks like with the Sun here that you probably put a lot of work into manifesting, Virgo, the desired outcome. And you've come really, really close, right? You've gotten really close, but you weren't able to tip that over into the success you actually wanted. And so what we see here with the Two of Swords is feeling like you've done everything that you can do. And so if you're not being presented with this choice, that it might never open up or happen for you. Here in the midheaven, this is a situation in the future that is going to be built upon what we had here with this King of Cups in the reverse. Either that a King of Cups figure is leaving your life, could be a water sign, could be somebody who has provided for you. It doesn't necessarily have to be a masculine energy, it could be an active energy. Or that there was some kind of emotional manipulation by somebody who had a certain level of power over you. And up here in the midheaven, we have the Five of Wands. This is a competitive energy. It's showing up in the upright. So there's going to be an opportunity to collaborate in a creative way with others, because that's what we see here. So this isn't like the Three of Pentacles where we're looking at group work that is centered around a specific workplace. You could be on a team at your workplace. This is going to be creative endeavors where all of you are kind of bouncing around ideas, and there's a certain level of competition between all of these people as well. But at this particular time, they're all pretty evenly matched. None of them are necessarily more skilled than any of the others. And the final outcome for your reading is very interesting because this is the advice for you. And can also tie up some of these loose ends, and is juxtaposed against how others see that you are not being made offers at this time, right? It's not very often that we see the Five of Pentacles show up in a way that is like advice. There's something humbling about coming to someone in a time of need, that you are making yourself vulnerable to that person. I don't know how many of you heard me tell this story before, so I'll tell it again here, but somebody had posted something on Tumblr. I go on Tumblr a lot. That was from a book about rules regarding sheltering in churches during like the Middle Ages or medieval times. I believe. I think it was in the 1420s. And they were talking about married couples sheltering in churches, and if they were allowed to have their if they were allowed to fulfill their conjugal duties to each other, right? Shall we say, basically, if you're a married couple and you're sheltering in a church, are you allowed to bang? And so the consensus at that time was that no, because that action would defile the church, and it would require then purifying the church every time something like that was done. And of course, how do you keep track of something like that, right? So that puts a whole new spin on why these two would choose each other's companionship over taking shelter inside this church, right? So there's also aspects of choosing companionship over charity. And that's kind of what's going on here, right? Not necessarily like feel bad for me, but maybe feel a little bit bad for me. I'm kind of going through it right now, you know. Not dwelling in pity, not necessarily even having to bring that up, but don't when people, how to put this, when people inevitably, oh, I should do more outdoor sessions. Thank you for mentioning that. I will. It's very hot right now, but as we head into the cooler months, and especially like later in the year, it's actually so nice outside, and so I would love to do that. I wonder if I could even find a way to set up like at a public park or something. I'll figure it out. Thank you for mentioning that. You're not dwelling in self-pity, Virgo. But when people bring up, oh gosh, it must be so hard that you're going through X, Y, and Z, you know, be like, well, you know, it's not the worst thing that's ever happened to me, for sure. But I do feel kind of vulnerable right now. And I could really use your support as a friend. So that is going to conclude the Virgo reading for this week. We're going to be moving on to the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn. And then after this video, the general readings is over, I'm going to go over to the members side of the channel and do some crystal scrying with this solar quartz. If that interests you, you're cordially invited, but your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever form it takes, whether that's watching, liking, sharing, subscribing, ringing the little bell so you know when I go live, because I think I like this time a lot, but I'm still fine-tuning it. And for those of you who talk to me in the comments and on the live chat, I so greatly appreciate it. And of course, a big thank you to my channel members for your loyalty and support. All right, so Capricorn, if you would share with me your intention, either by throwing your Wii remote right through your flat screen TV, or you might decide to whisper it quietly in your head, or the next time you're intimate with your wife, you could scream it right in her face. It's up to you. Additionally, allow any of those thoughts and ideas that reinforce that intention to rise up to the forefront of your mind so we can address it in the reading. Hi, Kara. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming. All right. Capricorn. Interesting. We have lots of cups showing up for you, some major arcana cards, some wands, some pentacles, all kinds of stuff, Capricorn. Oh, thank you for joining us, Obsidian. All right. Let's start here in the past. And this is a really interesting card to get in the past for you, Capricorn, because it's the Six of Cups, which is already about looking to one's past or things returning from the past. And what it looks like right now is that something has returned from the past and is about to have an effect on your current situation. This could be the gum you like is going to come back into style. It could be trends from your youth. It could be memories from your childhood. It could just be, especially for those of us who get a little long in the tooth, things from earlier parts of your life. Jobs come back around. Different other situations. Here in the place of the significator, Capricorn, we have the Queen of Wands energy showing up. This is water of fire. It's often associated with fire sign energies. It is somebody who's very charismatic, very charming, the life of the party. Still like a passive energy though, because we're looking at the Queen of Wands and not the King of Wands. King of Wands is actively leading others with those energies, while the Queen of Wands is more like, might be kind of a ringleader, but is more like encouraging others to kind of, it's good wingman energy. But of course, the Queen of Wands sparkles much too brightly to take a background role. This is crossed by the Ten of Cups. So there is an emotional cycle coming to an end, emotional fulfillment, success in that area. Down here at the bottom, this is the Imam Silai, and this is the energies that will provide the foundation for future events. So what we have there is the Three of Wands. This card is upright, and it has to do with your ships coming in. So energies that you put out into the world are returning to you at this time, very much in sync with what we see here with the passive energy of the Six of Cups. This would be emotions, this would be passions. So could be an emotional situation, could be a friend showing back up, it could be that they have things that they're returning to you energy-wise, books, pamphlets that you might have given them in the past, that pair of pants that you lent them freshman year of college and you thought for sure those are long gone. All of those things are possibilities. And from your perspective, this is a bit of a judgment situation. Like, you might not be ready to fully embrace whatever this is returning from the past, even though it is showing up in conjunction with this Ten of Cups energy. And Capricorn, especially if you have fire sign placements, you could be showing up as this Queen of Wands, but that Queen of Wands could also be that person returning. So somebody very charming, very disarming, and you're just a little bit cautious. You're like, it's now or never, maybe. And that's a potential for the situation, but it doesn't have to be about a love reading. This could also be Queen of Wands energy. Could be somebody who plans parties for a living. Could be somebody who is a singer in a band. All of those things are possible, and you start to see that this might be the time when you make it to that next level. From an outside perspective looking in, we've got the Ten of Wands. And this card is in the upright. People see you as being burdened in this situation, Capricorn, for some reason. Maybe there are oppressive aspects to this thing because it's showing up in the place of the significator as the Ten of Cups. So for you, it's an emotional cycle reaching resolution, whereas other people are seeing it as kind of like this burden. So there might be a certain amount of catharsis that's involved with whatever it is that's returning from the past. And we'll just say that it's represented by the Queen of Wands. It doesn't necessarily have to be a love situation. And as I've said before, the queens and the kings, the knights, the pages don't represent particular genders as much as they represent the active and passive energies of the elements that we correspond with them. Here in the future, Capricorn, we have the Page of Pentacles showing up reversed. So the Page of Pentacles, this is earth of earth energy. We are making material resources manifest, pulling them down into the physical plane. The potential is there for that in the future, but this offer has not been made yet. That offer is not yet on the table, and that's why it's showing up reversed. But it is based around this Three of Wands, where things are starting to return to you from energies that you've put out there. Here in your hopes and fears, we have the Ace of Cups, and it's showing up reversed. You might be afraid there's not a new start coming in for you. But all of the other energies are counter to that. Inversely, you might kind of be dreading starting over, especially if you're somebody who is a little long in the tooth, shall we say, and you've already been through this scenario and similar scenarios multiple times, and you're just getting kind of tired, kind of worn down by it, and not really excited about getting on this roller coaster again. Here in the midheaven, this is going to be the result of where we see the Three of Wands in the reverse. So you know that I call the Nine of Pentacles the single lady. So for some of you, this might mean that you're not going to be single anymore. Maybe you've been single for a long time, and you end up in a long-term relationship. Likewise, just as you don't see this offer being made yet, it has the potential to create a lot of financial freedom for you in the future. And the final outcome card for you today, Capricorn, is the Knight of Cups. And this Knight of Cups is showing up in the reverse. And it is showing up in juxtaposition to this Ten of Wands. So the Knight of Cups is showing up as your advice, as the closure for the reading. It could be that this person is not going to come to you, and therefore the burden is on you to approach them. And remember, I said that this could be a love reading, but we have the potential for income here. So it might not be a love reading. It might be the art of seduction as translated into the job of your dreams, right? Or into the passive income opportunity of your dreams. And you're going to have to, maybe the burden is on you to put yourself out there in that situation. The Knight of Cups in the reverse can also be about needing to think about things rationally and not getting carried away by your emotions. And especially where we see the Ace of Cups in your hopes and fears showing up reversed, I can see that you're kind of over it with all of that emotional turmoil. And this is kind of a judgment moment for you, too, Capricorn, that it's now or never if you're going to solve all of these quandaries around your emotions. We do have that cycle ending, so uh, this is as good a time as any. All right, so that is going to conclude the Earth sign readings for this week. We didn't go very long today, but I do feel like I said everything that I needed to. I'll be going now over to the members side of the channel to do some crystal scrying. I also do readings over there for the channel members, so if that interests you, you're cordially invited. But your presence here on the channel is greatly appreciated in whatever